Let me ask you something before this video really begins. Have you ever noticed how motivation disappears without warning? One day, you feel ready to change your life, full of energy and intention, and then, almost silently, that feeling fades. You still want success, you still care, but the drive is gone. If that's ever happened to you, stay with me, because this video is not about forcing motivation or pretending to feel inspired. It's about understanding why motivation actually works the way it does. Most people think motivation disappears because they are lazy, undisciplined, or not hungry enough for success. That belief alone destroys more potential than failure ever could. The truth is, motivation doesn't vanish randomly. It follows a rule. A psychological rule that quietly decides whether your brain gives you energy or takes it away. That rule is called the Locus Rule. Now, don't worry about the name. What matters is what it controls, because whether you realize it or not, this rule has been shaping your confidence, discipline, and motivation your entire life. Before we go deeper, let me pause here for just a moment. If you're someone who genuinely wants to stay motivated long-term, not for 2 days, not until the next setback, this is the right time to like the video and subscribe. Not for the algorithm, but because ideas like this only work when you come back to them, reflect on them, and apply them. All right, let's continue. The word locus simply means place. The Locus Rule answers one powerful question your brain asks every single day, often without you realizing it. Where does control come from in my life? From me or from outside me? That belief, where you place control, decides how motivated you feel. If you believe that outcomes in your life are mostly controlled by your actions, your decisions, and your responses, you have what psychologists call an internal locus of control. If you believe outcomes are controlled by luck, timing, people, systems, or circumstances, you have an external locus of control. And here's the part almost no one tells you clearly. Motivation can only survive when control feels internal. The moment control shifts outside you, motivation starts to fade. Think about it logically. Why would your brain invest energy if it believes effort won't change anything? Motivation is fuel, and the brain doesn't waste fuel on actions it believes are pointless. This is why motivation disappears when people constantly say things like, "What's the point?" or "It's not in my hands anyway." Those thoughts might feel realistic, even mature, but psychologically they signal helplessness, and helplessness shuts motivation down. Let me give you a simple example. Two people fail at the same task, same mistake, same result. One person thinks, "I need to change my strategy. I need to adjust my effort." The other person thinks, "Life is unfair. The system is broken. People like me never get ahead." Same failure, completely different internal response. The first person stays motivated. The second slowly loses energy, not because they care less, but because they feel less control. That's the Locus Rule in action. Now here's something important. Most people don't consciously choose an external locus. It develops slowly, through experiences, through comparison, through repeated situations where effort didn't immediately pay off. Over time, the brain learns a dangerous lesson. My actions don't matter as much as I think. And the moment the brain learns that lesson, motivation becomes unstable. Let me ask you something honestly. When something goes wrong in your life, what's your first instinct? Do you immediately look outward, blaming circumstances, people, timing, or luck? Or do you pause and ask yourself what part of the situation you can still influence? Be honest with yourself. There's no judgment here. Most people live with an external locus without even realizing it. But here's the good news. Locus is not a personality trait. It's not permanent. It's a habit, and habits can be changed. I didn't suddenly become more motivated. I changed where I placed control. The first shift I made was subtle but powerful. I stopped asking, "Why did this happen to me?" That question feels deep, but it gives zero power. Instead, I started asking, "What part of this is under my control right now?"
even if the answer was small, even if it was uncomfortable. And something interesting happened. The moment I found even a tiny area of control, my mental energy returned. Not excitement, not hype, but stability. That's how motivation actually works. Motivation doesn't come from feeling good, it comes from feeling capable. When your brain feels capable, it releases energy. When it feels powerless, it conserves energy. That's survival logic. This is why motivation disappears during long periods of uncertainty, not because people are weak, but because control feels distant. The second shift was even harder. I stopped waiting to feel motivated before acting, because motivation based on emotion is unreliable. Emotions change daily. Responsibility doesn't. Instead of asking, "Do I feel like doing this today?" I started asking, "If I don't do this, who pays the price later?" That question pulls control back inside you. It reminds your brain that your actions matter even when you don't feel inspired. People with an external locus wait for motivation to appear. People with an internal locus move first, and motivation follows. If this idea is connecting with you, pause for a moment and reflect. How many times have you delayed action because you didn't feel motivated, without realizing that action itself creates motivation? The third shift involved comparison. This is one of the most common motivation killers, and it's subtle. The moment you compare timelines, your locus moves outward. Suddenly, your success depends on others, and the brain hates that. Comparison tells your brain, "My success depends on how fast they move." And when success feels dependent on others, motivation collapses. So I stopped comparing results. I only compared actions. What did I do today that I can repeat tomorrow? That question keeps control where it belongs, with you. Let me be clear about something. Internal locus does not mean pretending you control everything. You don't. Life is unpredictable. Circumstances matter. Systems matter. Other people matter. Internal locus means this: you always control your response, and your response is enough to fuel motivation. This is where many people misunderstand motivation. They think motivation is excitement. It's not. Excitement is emotional. Motivation is psychological readiness. Motivation feels calm, stable, quiet. It's the feeling of, "I can do something about this." That's why people with an internal locus don't always look energetic, but they keep moving. Here's another important truth. External locus often disguises itself as realism. People say, "I'm just being realistic." But realism without agency is just resignation. There's a massive difference between acknowledging reality and surrendering control. Acknowledging reality says, "This is hard, but what can I do?" Surrendering control says, "This is hard, so why try?" Only one of those keeps motivation alive. If you're struggling right now, it doesn't mean you lack discipline. It means somewhere along the way, control slowly moved out of your hands without you noticing. The solution is not more pressure. It's not more inspiration. It's not forcing yourself to feel motivated. The solution is to move control back intentionally. Start small, very small. Choose one action that proves agency. One decision that reminds your brain, "My actions matter." Your brain responds to evidence, not promises. This is why small wins are powerful. They rebuild internal locus, and internal locus rebuilds motivation. Over time, something changes. You stop asking, "How do I stay motivated?" and you start asking, "What can I control next?" That shift changes everything. Let me leave you with this. Motivation is not something you find, it's something you earn through control. Every time you take responsibility instead of blaming circumstances, you strengthen it. Every time you act instead of waiting for the feeling, you strengthen it. Every time you choose response over excuse, you strengthen it. And slowly, without hype, motivation becomes consistent. If this video helped you understand motivation differently, like it, subscribe, and share it with someone who feels stuck. And tell me in the comments, what's one thing you can control today, no matter how small? Start there. That's how motivation stays.